Hello and welcome to Deepdale Podcast, October 2022. Thanks for listening and I hope you enjoy this episode. So much in here. It's autumn here at Deepdale now. The festival has just happened and I managed to catch up with a lot of festival goers and various of the different artists, including Ellie Gowers, Sam Kelly and Toast Poetry. Got an update from the One Stop Nature Shop, wildlife of what to see on the Norfolk Coast. I've got a chat with my little sister Anna about the conservation weekend and rural craft courses on Deepdale Farm, and a chat with some of the cast and crew of Haunted Deepdale, which is coming up later this month. So it's a packed podcast. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Do visit our website for all of our previous podcast episodes, going back almost 3 years now. I can't believe we've been doing it that long. Thanks for listening. Hope we'll see you at Deepdale very soon. Enjoy autumn wherever you may be and keep safe.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, see you next year.
So I'm with one of our lovely team here at Deepdale who have collectively put together this amazing festival. I'm with Andy, and he is a Deepdale Festival virgin. How's it been?
It's been fantastic, to be honest with you. It's been really, really, really good. I didn't know what to expect at all, and obviously I've only been here when I started in April, so the build up to it has been fantastic. But it's just been a really nice vibe. The vibe has been great, and you can tell that all the campers are all. They're just all. I can't explain it. Just all walk from different tents to different tents and see the bands, and it's just really, really good vibe. And camping on site's really good as well.
So I'm with the lovely David, who has been to the last 3 festivals. He wrote a very lovely review of Deepdale Festival for Outline magazine. I get the feeling he quite enjoyed his first visit in 2019, despite the rain, because he's come back twice since. So I'm assuming he quite likes it.
I do. It's one of my favourite festivals. It's so friendly. It's small enough that you get to see and meet people over the weekend, but it's big enough that you get some really good names appearing as well, particularly with the headliners. But it's not just the headliners, it's some of the people that I've seen here perform that have gone on to great things. Catherine Priddy was last year, and I just get blown away by seeing new talent. We had another female singer yesterday, Ellie Gowers. Same thing, never heard the name before, but obviously now she's going to be on my radar for the rest of the year and next year.
Yeah, it was just fabulous, and it was great. I was able to do a podcast chat with her afterwards. We'd been sort of talking about doing that for a while, and it was just so nice to kind of hear about how things are going and where things are going. And I think, she's destined for big things. I think I get that feeling, and I think you rather enjoyed Sam Kelly last night with Jamie on the Orchard Stage.
Absolutely. Sam, I've been aware of Sam for a while with the Lost Boys, Sam Kelly and the Lost Boys, obviously being from a Norwich dairy family originally. But it was the first time I'd had a chance to really learn about Sam the man. Some of it, between the songs, there were some stories about his time at Brighton, at college, and he really just blew the roof off the Orchard Stage last night, and I'm now a convert. I'm a big fan of Sam Kelly.
Well, enjoy the rest of the day, and I hope you really enjoy Wildwood Kin and Catherine Williams and Pavey Ark and Sunday Driver and various other amazing acts this evening. So thanks for joining us again, David.
Lovely. It's a packed day. Let's get on, and the sun's out, and it's going to be a cracker.
So I'm here with some newbies to Deepdale Festival. It's very nice to have new faces organisers every year, and I'm with Stuart and Joe. How's your first year been?
Oh, phenomenal. I've really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I can't really say enough about it. It's my first, but the actual festival, me and my hubby. But I do come here quite a bit with my dog and, go along the beach. But first time festival, definitely going to be coming next year.
And I think Stuart's found it not, he came for the punk ukulele and found it not quite punky enough. Is that right?
Yes, there was no spitting. It's just, it's punk, isn't it, at the end of the day?
And so if you had to pick, what would be your favourite artist you've seen so far?
I think it was the Brass last night in the orchard. What was the name of them?
East Angles Brass.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were.
Very individual personalities.
Yeah, I think they brought that day alive. When they come on, it sort of just got better and better after they've been on. They've perked everybody up.
How's your festival going? It's brilliant. I love this festival. It's my favourite festival of the whole world. This is one of my weekends that punctuate my year. Because I come down, I get to see you lovely bloke. I get to see Chris. I get to see the lads. The music is just superb, and it's such a nice mix of music. And festival, there's about 1 million dogs here. There are a lot of dogs. There's even more dogs this year, I think, than last year. I started taking photos on Thursday night. A lot of them are quite camera shy, I have to say, but they are some very pretty dogs. Yeah, there are. And it's the choice of music venues as well that we've got here. I mean, you've got I love the Brick Barn, but I saw the Last Inkling duo over in St Mary's Church, and St Mary's Church is a beautiful ancient church, isn't it? Yeah. It's just lovely. And that music, that ethereal sound, those two fantastic vocalists with mandolin and cello, it was just the perfect setting for that music. Obviously I had to buy the CDs, how could I not? It's just brilliant. Yeah, no, that was a very, very special thing. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yet another year at Deepdale. That's fantastic. And I'm already looking forward to the next one, my friend. Cheers, man. How have you found this year?
Oh, it's been stunning as always.
So who was the favourite act so far?
I like the Pilchards. Good bit of smoking Pilchards. Nice bit of West Country stomp. Good stuff. Got to have a bit of that in my life, so I'm happy with that.
Excellent. Anybody else who's favourite act so far?
Oh, Marina Florence.
Marina Florence.
I love Marina Florence, yeah. She's amazing. Soulful voice, yeah.
And so understated as well, just like she just refuses to believe anybody will ever listen to any of her music, but it's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
favourite.
How about yourself?
I would say Baroness and the Bear.
Excellent.
I think they were brilliant.
Yeah,
yes,
that's good.
Yes,
Excellent.
wasn't expecting that. It just blew me away.
How about yourself? What would you say your best so far?
I like Gentlemen of Few on, was it Saturday night? Friday night? I can't remember which day it is. Is it Sunday today?
I can confirm it is Sunday today, and it was Friday night. But it's good to know that there's been so much music that you've almost forgotten which day it is. So that's really good. So how's the festival been?
Festival's been great, as always. Great lineup. Chris always puts on some great acts, new acts that we've not seen before, guys that we know. Everyone's been absolutely brilliant, and the staff, the team, just fantastic.
That's great. And if you had to name your favourite act of the weekend,
that's a tricky one. I think the Last Inklings in the church yesterday really blew me away.
That was something really unexpectedly beautiful and haunting, wasn't it? It was, and it just fitted that venue so fabulously well.
Yeah, and they were such nice guys. Chatted to them afterwards. Bought the CD. Fantastic.
Is this your third, fourth, fifth festival? Which one can you remember?
We've been thinking about that. We think it is our fifth, so we think we've been to every one.
That's a very impressive record. Well done. You should get a medal. We should do badges, shouldn't we?
I suspect there are a few here that have been to, if not all of them, then most of them. But we think they get better.
Maybe like Parkrun, we should do, sort of like a special badge that you can sew onto your festival T-shirts that says how many you've been to. And you reach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'd definitely not miss one then.
And this year, which, if you had to choose, which would be your favourite artist so far?
Oh, it's really difficult. We really enjoyed the Angles Brass. Is that just they were so different. But I think all of the local folk artists, the solo performers, and the couples have been outstanding, absolutely amazing. We're waiting to see if the next Catherine Priddy, who sort of hit the big time when we first discovered her here first. So we think there are a couple that could well follow in her footsteps.
I have a feeling Ellie Gowers might be on the rise quite quickly. That was a fantastic set, wasn't it?
She reminded us of Catherine Priddy, quite a lot, and we're really looking forward to Catherine Williams today as well. She's
I was typing up the newsletter late last night, and someone had described her as someone who is very clearly aware of the greats and fast becoming one herself. Sure. So that's going to be I think that's going to be a brilliant set.
No, absolutely. I think she's had a fairly long career. We were reading I think she was nominated for a Mercury.
Yes, she was.
Back in the early 2000s or somewhere around there, maybe even 2000, I think. Yeah, so really looking forward to seeing her.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thanks very much, Jason. It's great.
How many festivals have you been to? Have you been to all of them?
All bar the very first one, I think.
Okay, so that's 4 festivals, and how's it? I'm assuming the fact that you come back, you quite enjoy them. But how's this one been?
It's the best weekend of the year, every time, and this one is up there with all of them. They're always fantastic. Good choice of music, something for everybody, something for all the family. Even the dogs love it, so we love it.
And if you had to choose, favourite act so far?
Wow, that's a toughie. Probably the Smoking Pilchards last night. I thought they were excellent.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your walk.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm talking to the lovely ladies at The Nest, which is the newest addition to the catering selection at Deepdale. And they have kept up the calorie intake of a large proportion of the festival goers with their incredible cakes, amazing hot chocolates, and various other lovely items. How's it been? Because you've done some serious hours this weekend. How is your first experience of Deepdale Festival?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been full on, but amazing atmosphere. Lots of lovely people around, just a really nice energy. And yeah, we've absolutely loved every minute of it. Even though long hours, we get to see people right in the morning all the way through to the last act at night. So it's been great.
I'm still in the orchard, and I am chatting to Jess Morgan, who many of the festival goers will know from a wonderful headlining set back in the early days of the festival. But she's also the wonderful producer and singer of our podcast music. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Oh, thanks for mentioning the jingle. It's Norfolk's best kept secret.
Well, people loved your set back when this was a sort of a fairly new event at Deepdale, and it's just so nice to see. And you're just enjoying it for the music today.
Yeah, we just come down to listen to some lovely music and take in the atmosphere. It hasn't changed. There's still lovely people, everybody smiling.
And you'll probably recognise a lot of faces who were absolutely enraptured by your set back then.
I don't know about that, but I've definitely seen a lot of friendly faces. I've just seen David Auckland hanging around, and people I know.
Well, enjoy. What are you looking forward to seeing most?
Do you know what? Very naughtily, I haven't even looked at the lineup. I just trust you that it's all going to be good.
Well, you can pretty much rely on Chris to fill your day with good music, so that's fine. So that's cool, and hopefully we'll see you back here performing at some point.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, if I'm invited.
I think Chris has given you an invite. It's just waiting for you to say when you're ready.
Yeah, when I'm ready. Yep, yes, definitely. I'm a bit under-rehearsed at the minute. It would be a bit scratchy and forget the wordsy and things at the minute. So, when I'm up to standard for Deepdale, I'll hope to be back.
Well, we'd love to see you back on the stage, and it would be fantastic. Thanks a lot, Jess.
Thank you.
I'm with David. Moongazer Ale makes the gorgeous beer that we all thoroughly enjoy over the weekend of Deepdale Festival. How's it gone?
It's been great as ever, Jason. It's a superb festival, and it's great to see so many old faces returning year after year, and also lots of new ones. Happily surprised at what a great event it is.
I do love when people sort of go, "Oh, is this the first year?"
Absolutely. No, I think, but like I say, lots of old familiar faces, which is brilliant as well. But it is like a journey of discovery, those that turn up here and realise what a great event you put on.
And it was lovely seeing you being able to do a piece on stage for It's on the Ball yesterday. Is a charity and a cause that you feel greatly passionate about and walked hundreds of miles for and planning to walk hundreds of miles more for. So tell me just a little bit about what It's on the Ball does and and how people can get involved and be supportive.
Well, It's on the Ball and Moongaze Well, we raise awareness of testicular cancer, which is quite a rare form of cancer, but it's not an often talked about cancer, but it affects mainly young men between the age of 18 and 24. So our role really is to raise awareness of it and get people talking about it, because 98% of that cancer can be cured, but if you miss a diagnosis by 4 to 5 weeks, that 98% could be a death certificate and you could die, because it's a very fast spreading cancer. So really all we're trying to do is raise awareness between young men and get them checking themselves once a month, and it's as simple as that to save lives.
Play with them is the simple answer, isn't it? Make sure that they're okay. Well, they're incredibly lucky to have your support. And if you didn't know about it, he pushed a beer barrel all the way from the brewery in Norfolk all the way down to the hospitals in London, and it was an amazing fundraiser. Have you announced what your next big fundraiser is going to be?
Well, if Mrs. Moongaze is not listening, it's actually going to be 7 marathons in 7 days with 75 kilos. And each marathon we're going to try and do in under 7 hours. So a mammoth task, and that'll all be around Norfolk next September.
Wow, man, that is incredible. So will you be in a fit state for the festival after that? Because you did comment this morning that everything gets heavier by Sunday at the festival. So that sounds like an amazing challenge, and I hope it's a huge fundraiser.
Yeah, no, hopefully we're yet to confirm the timings, but we're thinking that we actually finish here at the start of the festival is what we'd love to do.
Brilliant. Well, we really look forward to supporting you with whatever that plan is, and thank you so much for making brilliant beer and supplying lovely bars, and it's lovely to have you involved.
Thanks, Jason. Much appreciate it.
We're up at Woodview. We're looking over under beautiful blue skies and very sunshiny up over the farm towards the Downswood. And I'm sitting here with Ellie Gowers, who has just performed on the Orchard Stage, a wonderful set, much appreciated by the attendees of Deepdale Festival. It is lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's beautiful here. Absolutely beautiful.
So where have you come from to join us for this gig?
I've come from Warwick in Warwickshire, so it was about a 3-hour drive up here this morning in the rain. It was very grey and very murky, so I thought, this is going to be horrible. This is going to be really horrible, but actually it's turned out to be such a beautiful day, and it's very, very happy to be here. Very happy.
Yeah, it never rains at Deepdale, so we're fine. It's
Now you've said that.
Yeah, well, 2019 was horrifically wet, and then 2021, everybody got sunburnt. So it's like it's a mixture of the two. Yeah. So I just wanted to, because we've seen you perform now. We were going to try and catch up with the podcast pre-festival, but it never quite worked out. So it's lovely to be chatting to you now. How have you found the last couple of years, kind of creatively wise? Has it been good?
I mean, well, obviously, the first lockdown happened and it was very bizarre because a lot of things basically got cancelled in 2 days. So I didn't really do much for the first couple of months. I sort of just sat at home and played Sims 4 for hours and hours and hours, and wasted a good 2 months of my life. But I think I kind of needed it, because a couple of years before that I'd done uni and I'd just been super busy at work. I hadn't really had a time to just sit and pause. So I think it made me think about how I was living my life and what was important to me. So I think it was needed. But I did quite a few online collaborations with some friends over lockdown, which was so much fun and just a new way of creating, really. and I started working with this amazing group called Filkins Ensemble, which is a big sort of 14-15 piece ensemble, and that all came from lockdown. So I've kind of like recently been thinking about, you know, where I'd be now if lockdown hadn't have happened, and maybe like for me personally, maybe it like that, I'm not saying it's a good thing because it was awful, and you know, but I had a lot of good experiences from it, which I feel very lucky to have had. Very, very lucky to have had.
And how long have you been doing this? Is it like, was this something you knew when you were a kid that you wanted to be doing, or did you sort of come to this by accident?
When I was younger, maybe like up to the age of 14 or 15, I didn't have any interest in music. I didn't want to do it at all, and I think that was mainly because my mum did like musical theatre and she does amateur dramatics, as does my grandma, and I kind of wanted to stay away from that world. I don't know why. I think I was a teenager and I wanted to do my own thing, but I can't really exactly remember how it happened. It was a very slow progression, but I think one day I just sort of started writing like a poem or something, and that sort of transcended into music and songwriting, and here I am. It was a very like slow natural progression, doing open mics and like a couple of my own like featured slots and then a headline gig, and now I'm touring and doing festivals. So yeah, it's been a really like slow natural progression, but I've enjoyed it.
That's fantastic. And you know, is writing a song really hard work for you, or does it just come? Because I'm amazed when I talk to artists, some just go, oh yeah, no, 15 minutes, I'm, you know, bang, it's the song, and then I just sort of play with it. And others are like, oh God, no, I spend months over it, you know, thing. Well, how does it work for you?
I mean, I get terribly distracted with everything in life. I find it very, very hard to focus a lot of the time. So I do struggle with songwriting quite a bit. But then for the days where I can't write anything, there are days where I'll write like 2 songs in, you know, 2 hours or something. Like it's very different. It depends on like how much sleep I've had, where my brain's at, if I've eaten the right food. It's all about kind of where my brain is at each point of each day. I think is how it depends how I write.
Well, people absolutely loved your set. Thank you so much for coming to Deepdale Festival and joining us. It's been fantastic. And good luck with all of the rest of the gigs and the album sales and everything else. And hopefully we'll see you back at Deepdale in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been lovely.
Well, it's Sunday morning. It's got that very definite Sunday morning feel to it. Last day of Deepdale Festival, so we're sort of sad and elated all at the same time. There's various movements in the background. You'll hear the bar being set up, and the meditation is going to start fairly shortly with the singing bowls. And I am sitting in the courtyard with Sam, who performed the most awesome gig last night in the Orchard. Sam Kelly and Jamie Francis absolutely went down a storm with some very, very happy Deepdale Festival goers, and it's just really nice to catch up with him for the podcast.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great to come back. This is my second year here, but first time playing, so it's been lovely, and yeah, it went down well, I thought.
Yeah, you really did. I think they would have carried on asking you to play all night if Chris hadn't sort of stepped in and said, no, we have to say let them go. But you know, it was great that you came as a guest last year and then, you know, decided you quite liked the festival. So it was Chris was very excited when you said, oh, maybe I could play. That would be great.
Well, yeah, like I said last night, it's a local event for me. I'm from Norfolk. I grew up here, and I'm extremely excited whenever there's a new event in Norfolk, and so after coming last year, I sent Chris a few emails like, please let us play. And so it's great to be here.
That's cool. And you've just come back from Denmark, haven't you? Sort of touring around Denmark, which I think you said you were almost almost better known in Denmark than you probably are in the UK. It's amazing weird how these things happen, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, really. We got a chance booking at a festival in Denmark a few years ago, and since then we just built up a following there, really. And yeah, we sell as many tickets in Denmark as we do in the UK, which, like you say, it's just one of those things that never thought would happen. But it's a great place to go. It's a very lovely, easy place to tour. Really, it's kind of similar in size to the UK, but with a few more ferries involved. But it's great, and it's obviously lovely to come back to this gig at home.
And Sam normally plays with his band, the Lost Boys, who, if you ever get the chance to see them, you must go see them. They are fantastic. Chris and Sheila and I headed down to the Arts Centre to watch Sam and the Lost Boys and Catherine Priddy performing last year, which was an absolutely brilliant gig. But if you're anywhere near a gig for Sam and the Lost Boys, you really must see them. How has the creative process been over the last couple of years? Like, I know it's been interesting for artists. Did you find it inspiring or frustrating, or kind of a bit of a weird mixture of the two?
Yeah, definitely a weird mixture of the two. Initially, I was completely uncreative, and we sort of had to batten down the hatches quite a lot, and I'd moved back in with my mum, and it was for the first few months it was not a creative process at all. My instruments were packed away in my mum's attic and stuff like that, and but then towards the end of the first lockdown, we did an album as the Lost Boys, where we were very lucky, where we got just given the use of Kate Rusby's studio for like a month. We just stayed there for the whole month and did a residency and recorded an entire album in that time, and that's our most recent album, The Wishing Tree, which came out last year. And so, it was very much from one extreme to the other with me. It was like just a few months of just survival, and then it was sort of getting back into the creative process. But it's a funny thing, really, because I've always thrived on the sort of pressure of having a timeline of a creative project. So you're usually limited by how much studio time you can afford and stuff like that, and I think we've always done quite well with that sort of time pressure as a band. But so it was interesting just having this studio for a month and just being like, oh, what are we going to do now? And so we came up with quite a different album to how we had before, I think. So yeah.
And if anybody hasn't got the album, definitely buy it. Is that available on Bandcamp, on your Bandcamp?
It's on my website, which is samkelly.com, and we don't have Bandcamp because we do all our distribution through Proper Music, but so if on my website there's a shop that goes to the Proper Music shop, and then you can get all the stuff on there, or Spotify if that's what you want.
Well, Sam, it was an absolute pleasure hosting you at Deepdale. Thank you so much. You made Chris a very happy man by both wanting to play and doing such a brilliant set. And we hope that your travels to Casey. We were laughing last night about the fact that if we chose somewhere as far away as possible in Norfolk and still be a home gig, then it would pretty much be where you lived in comparison to Deepdale. So, thank you so much for making the trip, and we really, really hope that we'll see you back at Deepdale again soon.
Oh yeah, well yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been a lovely experience, and hopefully we'll get to come back.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you so much again. Cheers. I am talking to two very lovely poets.
Two literary boxers going at one another, like fist to jaw. No, what we did, so my name's Lewis Buxton, and myself and Daisy Henwood spent 25 minutes on stage at Deepdale Festival getting an audience to decide which one of us was the better poet. At what point the audience decide to side with one of us and say, yeah, I think she's got better poems than him, does just add that extra bit of jeopardy to your regular poetry reading. I went in with a belief in myself, and I think that so many people don't believe in poets. We're like Santa Claus. If you want us to deliver, you've got to believe in us. And at the very least, we've got to believe in ourselves before we fade like Marty McFly in the picture in Back to the Future. And I mean, I'm under no illusions that Daisy is a smarter, more attractive, better writer than I am.
You're so modest.
No, the point being that like so all I've got is my gregarity and my ability to talk to an audience and get them to believe in me. But yeah, the audience were lovely, by the way. Like, you know,
well, they did really enjoy it. I have to say, like, I think all the slightly quirky stuff that we put on, and because they're here as music lovers, like, and primarily folk lovers, which is great. But they really do appreciate the stuff that isn't quite the normal festival stuff, and so they really like that aspect. And so having you two doing fantastic poems in that setting, and there was beer flowing, so that you know always helps. But you know, like, I don't think if you'd say, because I bumped into you guys at the Norwich Lanes Festival, which of course any of us who've been to the Norwich Lanes Festival love, and it was fantastic this year. And you guys were writing free poems for people just sitting outside the bicycle shop, and I thought, oh, that'll be really good. And then I hadn't really realised that you performed as well, so that kind of led on to that. And I love the number of people you managed to make cry with your poems in a good way rather than a bad way. You know, that's a really positive thing. Yeah, if you can't see this because we're not recording this, but he's pointing at Daisy saying it's her fault. But like the number of people who were like actually physically in tears was just great. And so it's just really nice having something just that little bit different. And actually, like, I didn't realise you guys did stuff at the Arts Centre, so I'm really looking forward to coming along to some of those. I think that'll be really good fun. So how did you get into this?
Oh, Lewis was always the poet. We've been friends for a really, really long time, so we've known each other for about 10 years, and then we got together about 5 years ago. So he was just like sort of slowly drip feeding me poetry, I think, for like our entire friendship. I think he just gave me stuff. And then I finished my PhD and I was bored of writing long things. So I thought, what's short?
Quite a long thing,
it was a really long thing. And it was sort of like March 2020 and the world was closing down, and I was like, oh, I need something. So I started writing tiny poems. And poems are great because you can write a draft in like 5 minutes and then just go make a cup of tea. And it might be rubbish. You might work on it then for like a month, but you've got the first thing, and I really liked that feeling. And it's just like playing. It's like fun. It's like being a kid. Cool. I love that.
So how did a hobby for you, writing poems, and you've written poems all your life, I guess, how did that become toast poetry?
So about 6 years ago now, I lived in a place called London. It's sort of south.
It's a small village down south.
Yeah, southeast. It's got a sort of, well, it's not really a river, a sort of trickle going through it. And in London, the art scene is this beautiful, wonderful thing, but it does have this element of competitiveness. It's got this element of, you know, you're in the big city, everything's moving pretty fast, you know, art has to as well. And Daisy put this really beautifully recently, trying to create art in a, let's face it, capitalist system is a bit like trying to shove a profoundly round peg into a definitely square hole. And I just felt like it needed something different. And so I originally came up with the idea for Toast Poetry, which is just this sort of community, a space for poets to come together, to perform, to learn, but then most importantly, to reach out to audiences, to do stuff like Deepdale, to do stuff like, you know, popping up in the middle of a fair in Norwich, and writing poems for people or performing poems, and making people recognise that poetry is ostensibly exactly like toast. Somebody walked past our stall today and went, well, everyone likes toast. And I was like, yeah. And it's and I genuinely believe that about poems. I think that there is a poem for everyone. There is a slice of bread for everybody. There is, you know, there's gluten free, there's multi-seeded, there's your classic white tin, there's a granary, there's a wholemeal, there's a spelt loaf, there's whatever it is that you need. You can tell I used to work in a bakery. And then a couple of years after that, Daisy and I were living and working in Norwich, and we got the opportunity to work with the Norwich Arts Centre, who are this incredible institution. You know, they've had everyone from Nirvana, Ed Sheeran, Kate Tempest, Lewis Buxton and Daisy Henwood on that continuum of talent. And so we started running nights there. They supported us, and they've supported us for the last 4 years. And it's meant that we've continued to be able to reach audiences and prove to people that poetry is entertaining, that poetry is like toast. If you want it first thing in the morning, have it. If you want it for lunch, do it. If you want it late night in the evening, if you want it in the middle of a field in North Norfolk, do it. So yeah, that's how toast poetry has come about. That's how a hobby or a deep love, or the thing that you do in the back of your notebook soaked in midnight tears and coffee, becomes, for us, a career. That's how you force that round peg into that square hole.
Brilliant. Well, so lovely to speak to you both. Thank you for bringing an awful lot of people to tears out of sheer joy from your poems, and thank you for the performance. It was great fun. I think definitely one of the things people remember most from the festival. So thank you guys, and we will see you at the Arts Centre in due course.
Brilliant.
Cheers.
Hi there, and welcome to another short section on the wildlife of the Norfolk Coast with me, Ollie, from the One Stop Nature Shop at Dalegate Market. October is an interesting month for bird life, especially on the coastline. There is often a case of very mixed wind direction, which can obviously be quite unsettling for the number of species that arrive here for the winter. And it can also lead to a number of migrants being blown off course. Such birds include birds like yellow-browed warbler, which is a very, very small diminutive warbler from Siberia that should spend its winter in India and Southeast Asia, but often gets blown off course to the UK and can often be seen along the Norfolk coast in early to mid-October. Other birds you no doubt have heard this time of year so far is the pink-footed goose. They began arriving in mid-September, and their numbers now are really starting to pick up, and they can be seen regularly all along the Norfolk coast. Other birds that you might come across, especially on the marshes this time of year, is a bird called short-eared owl. That is a crepuscular species that is found in sort of dawn and dusk, and again is another migrant that tends to arrive here in October. The final thing you should probably look out for this time of year as well is stoats. They're a mustelid, similar family or same family to weasels, and October can, sort of late September, early October can be a month or a period where you can see them pretty regularly along the coast, such as sites at Burnham Overy Dunes and also Titchwell RSPB. There's been some good sightings of them there recently. So that's just a short summary of what you can expect to see along the coast at the moment. If you want any of the latest bird news, do pop into the One Stop Nature Shop at Dalegate Market, and we're happy to give you the latest information. We also have 2 new exciting ranges of binoculars in stock now, the OS Optics range and also East Coast Optics range. So if you're looking for a new pair of binoculars, be sure to pop in and give them a try. Thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon.
So I'm on Zoom and I'm chatting with my little sister, Anna, and she is organising courses at Deepdale, and we've got a bunch set up, and then she's got a whole bunch of stuff that she's working on, and then appealing for anybody else that's sort of interested in running courses at Deepdale. So how are you? It's nice to see you. It's your first time on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, the one we're going to talk about primarily is the green woodworking course, isn't it, with Richard Rood, which we've run previously and have run for probably about a year and a bit now, haven't we, really?
Yeah, and they've been really popular. Richard's, I think, a very patient teacher, and really helps people to get the most out of the day with him, even if they've never done anything like the green woodworking before. So he's a real character and very passionate about his craft.
And a beautiful craft it is. And in case you didn't know, Richard has been to Christmas markets, and he comes to the pop-up shops regularly, and he sort of demonstrates, and he has this beautiful lathe that he makes the most amazingly beautiful woodwork on, and that's what he teaches you. So he basically, you can create a rounder's bat or a candlestick or something similar.
Yeah, and so he'll teach you sort of about the properties of the wood, and show you how to use different tools, including the pole lathe, but also a draw knife as well. So yeah, he will take you from a complete beginner to, yes, as Jason says, creating something lovely to take home. Potentially it's flat enough for a rolling pin, but you might not get the best pastry out of it.
Rustic pastry,
yeah, with lovely patterns on it.
And you can also use Deepdale flour for that, so that's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
New batch coming soon, hopefully.
Fantastic. So Richard is basically, he is doing these 1-day introduction courses, and they are happening in October and November and December. So we've got the 22nd of October, the 23rd of October, the 29th of October, the 13th of November, and the 4th of December. But of course, as always, you can just go to the Deepdale Farm website, click on events, and there are all the dates, so that they're all in there. And then if you wanted to take it further and you want to sort of move on from just a kind of a cricket bat, not a cricket batter, I'm sure a cricket bat's incredibly complicated to make, so it's probably not that stage, but a rounder's bat or a rustic rolling pin, then you can come on to his stool making course, which is a 2-day course, but it's sort of split over 2 separate days. Tell us a bit more about kind of what you do on that course.
Yeah, so depending on how long you've left it between your introduction to green woodwork and your stool making course, Richard will make sure that you've got remembered how to use the pole lathe and the draw knife, and he will help you create 3 legs for your stool. So that's probably just a very similar technique to your initial candlestick or whatever, and then on the second day, he will help you assemble the stool. So the top will be made from hardwood, and the legs, which will have dried in the intervening period, he will help you assemble them. Yeah, so they all take place up in Downs Barn, which is our beautiful barn at the top of the hill, tucked in behind our woodland. And yeah, it's a lovely courtyard setting, and he will keep you well refreshed with coffee and tea throughout the day, biscuits, potentially homemade cake. And so it's a really amazing thing, beautiful item that you can take home. You can have it in your house for years to come and tell everybody your story of how you made it.
It is a fantastic location. It really is. The barn owl pottering around. If you want to immerse yourself in green woodworking, then a green woodworking course at Deepdale really is the way to go. And so in terms of other courses, you've been chatting to other people about potentially running other courses at Deepdale. What sort of other courses are likely to rear their heads over the next few months?
Yeah, so we had at the end of August, we had our first willow weaving workshop. So a couple called the Coddywomplers came to Deepdale and had the most beautiful sunny day for quite a few different people to come and learn. They did 2 half-day courses. One was on garden decor, and the other one was making a sort of hanging birdhouse feeder. So our mum took part in that, and she was very proud of her accomplishments.
Yeah, she even brought it here when she came for lunch the next day to show us.
Yeah, she was very, very proud. And I think everybody really enjoyed it. One of the ladies enjoyed the morning so much she stayed for the afternoon. So I think there were lots of different twirly things and snails and all sorts that people made in the afternoon session. So hopefully we are going to be doing a little bit more with those guys. Possibly a pre-Christmas one to sort of make some Christmas stars and things like that. Otherwise it will be next year, but we will definitely have them back because I think they really enjoyed their time at Deepdale as well.
That's great. Excellent.
And then we've also been talking to a foraging company who was really keen about the various different bits that they found on the farm. And we have a couple of beehives on the farm, and one of the guys who runs them is quite keen to do some beekeeping courses. So we'll hopefully get that set up. And we're really open to other ideas of things that people might want to run at Deepdale. Jason did a barbecue course at the weekend. Apparently they're keen.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
That was great fun.
And for me, on a personal front, I would really like somebody to come and do a kind of kids club forest school type activity next summer, because I know that I wasn't alone in having the privilege now of being able to work from home and be in Norfolk, but then the childcare options were elsewhere, and there is only so much that I can rely on Granny. Yes, if anybody would like to come and run some kind of holiday club in our woods next year, we've got Downs Barn, which you can use for, rainy days and little kitchen and things. Yeah, please let me know, because I would be very keen to hear from you. And I'm signed up my 2 kids already.
Excellent. Well, Deepdale is a beautiful venue for these events. We get some really wonderful crafters coming through, and definitely worth thinking. And if you're not sure what to get that person for their birthday or Christmas present, then book them onto one of these courses with Richard, and keep an eye out for other courses. And as I say, all of the information on all these courses is on our website. Just head to deepdalefarm.co.uk, click on events, and everything is there, and away you go. And so with all of these lovely sort of artisan courses and stuff you're doing, you're also revitalizing the conservation weekend, aren't you?
Yes, we are. So the 5th and 6th of November, we are having our first conservation weekend for, I think it's 2-3 years,
something like that. Yeah, I think we had one planned in we ran one in February 2020, because I remember us having conversations with Dom, who was a doctor, saying, oh, should we be worried about this COVID thing, little knowing what was going to hit us. So
So yes, conservation weekends are back. And we're hoping that lots of people, we've got a few people signed up already who apparently very know exactly what they're doing. They're old hands at it and have been on various other ones. But even if you have not come and done things like hedge work and things before, we will show you what to do and give you some tools. But if you do know what you're doing, then we definitely want to see you. So the way that we're doing it this time, hopefully if people are coming for the full weekend, you can arrive Friday evening. We can have probably some pizzas Friday night. We'll provide dinner on Friday night and Saturday night, a hearty breakfast on Saturday and Sunday, lunches you can fend for yourself. And this time we do ask that you book accommodation separately, but we've got a group booking for it in the granary. So that is at your cost, because we realise that some of you are local and may not be requiring that. But yeah, then Saturday we'll have a full day morning and afternoon session of just lots of jobs around the farm that aid wildlife, from restoring some hedging, putting rainwater collection systems together, making sure that all of the bird feeders are sort of clean and ready to go for the new winter season. So yeah, lots and lots of different jobs. Saturday evening, as it is bonfire night, we will be planning to have a bonfire, and then Sunday.
Is that the big bonfire up in the pit hole?
Yes.
Fantastic. A lot of the regulars will have thoroughly enjoyed that bonfire in previous years. So,
be good. And then Sunday back out, a little bit more work, and then sort of after lunch on Sunday, whenever people need to head off, they can do so. If they're desperate to keep going and finish a job, then they're very welcome to stay. So yeah, even if you can only make it for one day, we'd still really love to see you. But if you can make it for both and the Friday evening, then it gives us a bit of a chance to do a bit of an introduction to Deepdale and explain sort of our farming practices and what you're going to hopefully achieve over the weekend.
Fantastic. Sounds great. It's
so that
lovely
is
to see them back.
Free event, but we just ask that you do book online, just so that we have an idea of numbers and things.
Yeah, That's cool. And then talk to you guys about if you want to join the group booking for the accommodation.
Yeah.
So, or if you want to book something a bit posher and a bit smarter, you can book that directly with Deepdale Camping, or if you really want to go posher, you go to the White Horse further up the road.
Yeah.
Whatever
Great
makes you happy, as they
establishment.
say. Brilliant. Well, that's fantastic. Thanks, sis. Yeah, so that's Conservation Volunteering Weekend, starting on Friday, the 4th of November in the evening, running through till Sunday afternoon on the 6th of November. And again, the details will all be on the website. So just jump on to deepdalefarm.co.uk, click on events, and it'll all be there. Well, it's lovely to have you on the podcast for the first time, Anna. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's quite all right. Thank you.
I hope it wasn't too scary an experience, as this was slightly out of your comfort zone.
It is, but ultimately it is just talking to my brother, so it's okay.
Well, thanks. And we look forward to hearing what the other courses are. It'll be great. I'm chatting with some of the team behind Haunted Deepdale, which is returning to Deepdale, well, to the orchard at Dalegate Market this October in just a few short weeks' time. And it's our version of Halloween event, but without the psychopaths running after you with knives and stuff. It's sort of friendly, spooky, rather than scarily, need a coronary. And I've got three of the team. They're all going to sort of introduce themselves and explain a bit more about what they're doing. Yeah, hello guys, welcome to the Deepdale podcast. I'm going to start with Danny. Tell me a bit about what your involvement is with Haunted Deepdale and what to expect from Haunted Deepdale.
Great. Hello, I'm Danny. I am the director producer. So I am the person that brings it to Deepdale, but I'm also the one who gets the fun of taking the words from the writer and working with the actors and bringing it to life. So my job is to build. I'm also building the set. So I'm basically anything they're not doing. I'm handyman, woman, person doing it.
General Dog's Body.
Yes, that's exactly
producer and General Dog's Body.
Yes. And I'm really excited because I did it last year and oh God, it was so much fun. And I've got fingers crossed for really good weather again. That would be lovely. But yeah, I'm in the middle of painting and building quite a lot of gravestones. So my garage looks like a fun place to be at the moment.
Excellent.
I'm Steve. I write for television and radio and theatre, and I wrote the show last year, and I'm writing it again because it was a lot of fun to do. And it's based on 3 kind of Norfolk ghost stories and legends, and we learned a lot doing it last year, and I'm hoping we're taking it to the next level. And I should add at this point, my daughter is making spiders for the. I don't know if Danny knows this, but my daughter is making spiders for the set as well, and they all have different personalities. So, in her own words, I'm going to make them all with different personalities. So
we like that. That's great. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. And Vanessa, I'm guessing, as we've got the writer and the producer, that you're one of the actors.
I am, yes, one of the actors. I've returned from last year. I had so much fun last year that I've come back for more.
So you survived the October evenings and the.
So we have a show called The Ghosthunter's Mark, which Steve has written, and it's on twice a day from 5:45 and 8:15, and that's on the Wednesday, the 26th of October until Sunday, the 30th. That is a promenade immersive theatre. So that means that come dressed for October, but the stages are actually covered. So when you're actually you're in with the characters, they are you are undercovers, but you do have to walk around in the orchard a little bit. So yeah, that's a theatre piece. So you're coming to be entertained by actors. They are going to be telling stories based on legends and myths, as Steve said, of Norfolk. They're quite funny. Steve can tell you about that, and also quite spooky. So yeah, that's very much a theatrical event. Now we recommend age 8+. But for this year, we're actually launching a new thing during the daytime of Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. And that's called the Haunted Deepdale Theatre Party. And that's for kids that are 11 and under. And there's party games, there's improvised storytelling, and there's a treasure hunt. So you can come dressed up you don't have to, and have a lot of fun. And we're having that in the afternoon at 3:00.
Great. Excellent. So Steve, are you allowed to give us any hints of what the stories, are about, or is that, you sworn to secrecy?
Well, I'm just swearing myself to secrecy. So this is I break my own official Secrets Act. I do try and bring the comedy to this. I have a stand-up and improv background as well as writing. This year, it's set around a sort of ghost hunters club. So you arrive and you are here to see, the annual kind of meeting of the ghost hunters, and the first story will be a bit like that first speaker, and then obviously, as you'd expect in a Halloween show, things take unexpected turns. But it's three stories, which there are kind of connections. They kind of nod to each other, and they also nod, if you're a real enthusiast, they also nod to some of last year's shows just a little bit as well.
Excellent. So we can test whether people have been before by, how well they picked up the connections.
Yeah. I'm building essentially a huge Marvel universe of Halloween, Norfolk ghost story.
Haunted Deepdale it becomes a whole new Marvel thing. That sounds great.
This is phase
we
one.
Like that.
Yeah,
that's good. And then Vanessa, in the same vein, are you allowed to tell us kind of, the characters you play?
Oh, I wouldn't have said so, but it's very different to last year for me personally, playing a couple of different characters. But as Steve said, there are some favourites returning, so those with eager ears can listen out for some recognisable characters.
Fantastic. Well, really lovely to speak to you guys. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. If anybody wants tickets, just head to deepdalehalloween.co.uk. Very easy, or just search for Haunted Deepdale anywhere on any decent social media or any decent search engine. But yeah, it's the event is called Haunted Deepdale, and there are the two different aspects: Promenade Theatre and the children's theatre parties. Yeah, head to deepdalehalloween.co.uk and you will find all the ticket information there. And we look forward to seeing you. Just about 3 short weeks away, really.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. I'll just leave that hanging
scary.
while I'll go away and edit the podcast. Nice to speak to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks again for listening to the Deepdale podcast. We hope you enjoy the listen, so much so that you might tell your friends and family. You can subscribe to the Deepdale podcast in any good podcast directory, including Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Castbox, our hosts, Spotify and YouTube, and you'll find all our previous episodes. We always love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, so please do drop us an email to podcast@deepdalefarm.co.uk. Keep well, and we look forward to seeing you on the beautiful North Norfolk coast sometime soon.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of samphire, sea, lavender, sea.